Oh, we're probably live.
Here we are. Yeah, the red light was on. I should have been thinking. Well, here we go. Welcome to Sports Extra Overtime. Quite possibly, maybe sadly, maybe not, our last Sports Extra Overtime here of 2020. We got a big show coming up here tonight. We're going to break down some of the bigger games of tonight. But, Pat, we have a very special guest here on the phone with us.
Yes, Mr. Jeff Williams, head coach of the Owatonna Huskies, who just are coming off their 5th straight section title. And, Jeff, you had an all-out dogfight over there, didn't you?
It was a dogfight. We scored a couple right away. Our offense was clicking. We didn't allow Mayo on the field. We recovered an onside kick, and we were up 14-0. I think Mayo had 3 snaps in the first quarter, and we thought we kind of had them on the ropes a little bit. But give credit to Mayo's athletes. Caden Holcomb and DeMonte Simmons are phenomenal athletes. Gresseth is a great athlete. Ellsworth did a super job, and all of a sudden we're looking at a 14-14 game, and then 21-21, and go into halftime. We got just almost a Hail Mary right before half. Threw the ball up. The defender did a great job of tipping the ball, and it landed in our tight end's hands, and we were able to tie it up right before half. And then we just kind of traded body blows in the second half. Simmons cracked a big one. We were able to get one, and it really ultimately turned on a bad snap that led to a safety, and that provided the margin of victory, and we were able to close it out at the end. So couldn't really be happier for our kids. The opportunity to win your last game of your senior year on your home field under the lights. Just really excited for our guys.
How emotional was it, Coach, after the game? It's been quite a year. So what was the emotions like in the locker room and as you drove home tonight?
One of the unique things about being a football coach is you get to see kids cry. Most parents don't see their kids cry after they're about 2 years old, and to be able to give kids hugs after a game, and we've been through tears of sadness before, and obviously tears of joy, and tonight was tears of joy, and just I think just a great sense of relief that we were able to find a way to get to the end of the season. We just never really knew. It seemed like every morning we woke up and we had an 0-2 count against us, and we just had to, foul off good pitches every single day. And our kids were just so resilient. And I think it was a sigh of relief as much as anything.
Jeff, I mean, this is quite a streak you guys are putting together out there in Owatonna for section championships. What was it maybe about this year? I mean, you did it once again, but with this whole situation, how tough was it to get to that finish line?
Really tough, Mark. We had COVID contacts where kids were out. We've had positive cases, a case in the summer during our weight training program. We've had 2 cases within our team this year. But, I give our kids a lot of credit for following protocols, maintaining distance, wearing their masks when they're, not playing. And so we were able to continue to participate, even though, we had these situations arise. And, it wears on kids. This isn't their idea of a great time to not be hanging out with their buddies and going out to dinner and, hanging out in the locker room and talking about girls. I mean, it was just a really tough season from that standpoint. I just give a lot of credit to our kids for buying into what we told them that they had to do, and they did it, and we were able to escape to the finish line. So it was very rewarding, Mark.
And then with how tough this year has been for everybody with this whole situation, you guys got to be one of the very few teams that is going to end the season on a win. How big is that for you and for your kids?
Well, it's huge. We kind of got taken behind the woodshed by Mankato West in our last home game. And, I think that left a bad taste in our kids' mouth. West is a very good team, but that wasn't the way that they wanted to end their senior year on their home field. So to be able to go out under the lights one more time, and, it's a unique situation when this is it. You are not going to get another practice. You are not going to get another game. So you're just going to leave it all out there. And, I think our kids really bought into that, and they were ultimately rewarded for that mindset at the end.
Hey, Jeff, thank you very much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to cover your football team. I know you're a Rochester kid. Your Rockets played really hard tonight. They had Century on the ropes, and they almost had them, but they played well the last few games of the regular season. Your dad would have been proud of tonight's game because the kids gave everything they could have that they had inside of them.
Pat, you know that I've still got a Rocket tattooed someplace. So I love their John Marshall Rockets, and I root for them whenever they're playing anybody other than Owatonna. So, Mark, Pat, thank you guys so much for the coverage this fall. You guys always do a great job, and you're our go-to.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Always good to hear from you, Jeff. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
All right, let's take a look at some of those JM highlights. If we have those queued up back in there, there we
they
are.
are.
Here we go. Yeah, it was one of those first, they like Jeff talked about, there were punches and counter punches thrown in this game between, and this Swancut kid, he's just a tough runner. He's got a good nose for the feel of the football field, and he played really well against Austin. And I just think their passing game has started to come around the last several weeks.
That quarterback has an arm.
Yeah, and then, Isaiah, he takes a pounding. He just gets beat up, but he keeps coming back. He looks for that crease. He looks for that chance to get into the end zone, and he did there. And then, of course, on special teams, kickoff returns and punt returns for touchdowns are just speed. And that's exactly what Isaiah has, is speed. And then this touchdown right before half that put JM up 18-14 is just another pretty throw. He had a couple another touchdown pass before half, and he had one that was called back. So it was a gritty, gutty performance by both teams. It was a good way to end the season for JM and Century, but Century ends up taking third place. And I think we have the Byron highlights. We'll run through those real quick.
Let's see. Here we go. The Byron Bears.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Casson Manorville. Boy, what a season this has been for the Comets. I mean, they've just, coming into this year and through a lot of part of the season, people were kind of giving Byron the edge. Byron was getting the hype. The Comets just kind of silently went about their business. Byron's a very good team with a very talented player, and the Comets just...
The Comets missed the first game of the year, too, if you remember, with COVID
Yes,
issues.
they did. I forgot about that.
And then they had to go to Hopkins, and they played Albany. And I said back then that loss might have been better for them than a victory because they just really played well. And they say defense wins championships, and then obviously
this
made
play
the difference.
is like 18 seconds left. Scheuer throws it up, and Bigelow just right there for the interception. I mean, Byron, momentum was in Byron's hands with like a minute and a half left. KM had to punt. Byron blocked it. They recovered the ball in KM territory. Then they threw the pass to Dearborn, I believe, and then that one there that was picked off. But, that was really shaping up. It was a rivalry game. Anything could happen. Bigelow stepped up and made a play right there.
Well, we were blessed to see 7 weeks of high school football.
I know.
Period.
Hopefully we get to Saturday. But, just to get to this point, I said this last week, I didn't think we were going to get here. In August, Pat, did you? I didn't even think there was going to be a season.
Not at all. And it was fun. We had a good time. The weather cooperated. Everything was perfect. Coaches, ADs, everything at the stadiums was A-OK. And I appreciate all our photographers, Micah and Chuck Sibley and you. We all did our best to get the highlights back and get them on.
We can't forget the people here in the production booth.
Room.
Victoria, Corey, Ian, Bob's here tonight. Timmy Strauss normally on the director board, but everyone. I mean, it's a complete team effort here. Everything on Sports Extra is just a complete team effort. The best thing we do here.
Hey, thanks for joining us on the OT. Never know, we might see you again soon. Good night.